with März Ali, an activist from the Somaliland diaspora who sought refuge in England with his family years ago.
So the short answer is that Somaliland is not Somalia. Somaliland has no shared history with Somalia apart from 31 years it was briefly illegally occupied by Somalia. Somaliland actually received its independence from Britain on the 26th of June 1960, 5 days before Somalia Italiana became a UN trusteeship. The two countries don't actually share recent nor ancient history. Somaliland is a peaceful, prosperous, and democratic country with a population of almost 6 million people who live in the successor state of notable kingdoms and sultanates, which date back thousands of years. And interestingly, these entities, such as the Land of Punt and the Ordal Sultanate, historically, they actually fully utilized Somaliland's geostrategic location as a trade corridor. Somaliland was an integral part of the ancient trading routes, and we've seen this in maps across museums in places like Jordan and also history books. Somaliland was a gateway, an integral gateway into and out of Africa, connecting Africa with Arabia, East Asia, Southeast Asia, in the exchange of goods and establishment of trading outposts. Ancient Somaliland traded with the ancient Egyptians, the Greeks, the Romans, the Babylonians, Chinese, Indians, and many more. However, when the Republic of Somaliland became independent on the 26th of June 1960, when it became the 17th independent country in Africa, receiving its independence before all the other East African countries we have today, recognized by many countries including Britain, China, France, Ethiopia, and the Soviet Union, and many others. It actually sought to enter in a union with what was the UN trusteeship of Somalia Italiana, which I mentioned earlier, on the 1st of June 1960. At this time, Somaliland had international borders, a recognized government, as I just mentioned, a constitution, and a parliament. I earlier referred to Somaliland being under an illegal occupation, and this might actually confuse some people and say, what's he talking about? But from this point onwards, when Somaliland received its independence, 5 days later, when it thought about this union, what happened was Somaliland and its parliament actually put together an act of union which was agreed with Somalia Italiana. But what happened was Somalia Italiana actually did a bit of an Italian job. This act of union was never legally ratified, and the sham referendum, which was held in 1961, was actually rejected by Somaliland citizens. This illegal occupation is further proven by an interesting case in 1961. There was a revolt by Somaliland's soldiers. However, this revolt was not successful. And what happened was these soldiers were put before a British judge in a court in Somaliland. However, the judge found that he could not sentence these soldiers because the Act of Union was never ratified. It was never legal. Till this date, what we refer to as Somalia, or the federal government of Somalia, it's provisional. It has a provisional constitution, a provisional government, a provisional president, all because of what happened in the 1960s. Yes, it's crazy. This is actually the history that's hidden from the world, and a simple Google search won't unearth.
I have chatted with März Ali, an activist from the Somaliland diaspora who sought refuge in England with his family years ago.